Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am just Mike. You are watching and you are listening to episode number 72 of the Rock Out Wild Show, where it is not just a show, it is a way of life. Now, if you are new to this video and if you are new to this very channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below this very video. You can also like or dislike however you want to rate this episode of the Rock Out Wild Show, and share this video on all of your social media platforms, from your Facebook to your X to your Instagram to your YouTube, what have you. Share this video, share this episode of the Rock Out Wild Show on every single social media site that you own. And also tell everyone what the Rock Out Wild Show is all about, from your family to your friends to your coworkers to your acquaintances. Spread the word. Tell everyone what the Rock Out Wild Show is all about. And as you see from the title of this very episode, I will be going over an article from Den of Geek as they ranked every season of Buffy the Vampire Slayer just a few months ago, right around the time when the news was starting to break about a potential revive of the show, but ultimately it wasn't meant to be. So that would be the main event of episode 72 of the Rock Out Wild Show. Also, we are going to take a look at on this day in the world of wrestling, music, film, television, and sports for June the 10th. But to kick things off for episode 72 of the Rock Out Wild Show, I'm going to react to an old movie review of mine, a movie called Run All Night, starring the man, the myth, the legend, Liam Neeson. So, let's do this, shall we? But before I do, I'm going to open up the webcam and say hi to everyone watching and listening to episode 72 of the Rock Out Wild Show all around the world. So let's get this party started, shall we? So let's present, share screen. And let's go to the review. Make sure the audio is on. And let's react. In 3, 2, 1, action.
When you put Taken and Walk Among the Tombstone and mix them together for one...
Wait, hang on. Hold on just a second.
...movie, you get a really good mix, I gotta say.
I am not getting audio. I'm actually not getting audio. I will need to set the settings up here. Just a quick second. Hang on, everyone. Well, let's see. Hang on. I didn't realize when I started recording this that I could not hear myself on this video. Speakers, Yeti Nano. Yeah, we are going to change that to this one, I do believe. Let's try it for a second. Okay. Perfect. All right. So let's react to this movie review for Run All Night. Let's go to the beginning here and let's get this started.
When you put Taken and Walk Among the Tombstone and mix them together for one movie, you get a really good mix, I gotta say.
Yeah, you kind of do, don't you?
Hey, what's up? Ben, how's it going, all movie fans in the movieverse? Welcome to the Mike McRock Movie Review Show. Right now I'm going to review Run All Night, and this movie is mainly about the Liam Neeson's main character, Jimmy Conlon, who ends up killing the son of a mobster, Boyd Holbrook, and the head
Right.
mobster is
Boyd Holbrook.
played by Ed Harris,
Ed Harris.
and Liam Neeson's son is played by Joel Kinnaman. And
Joel
what I
Kinnaman.
like about this movie
All-star
is
cast.
that even though this movie presented Liam Neeson as a bad guy badass, he's really not. And I like to bring up a movie that came out last year, Edge of Tomorrow, where Tom Cruise was, pretty much portrayed as this badass kick-ass guy, but he really wasn't. He was a coward. Same with Liam Neeson in this movie. That's what I really liked about this movie is that you really get a sense.
I'm going to pause it for a minute. I'm going to predict the amount of points I gave Run All Night. I would say 71 out of 100. Let's continue.
In that Liam Neeson is playing a real good character, and you really feel sorry for him. And even though he has this cliched storyline with his son, you know, at least you could feel genuine and you could feel the chemistry between the two of them. But what I really liked more was the chemistry between Liam Neeson and Ed Harris. And when there's no action going on in this movie, it's the dialogue that really makes this movie worth watching and makes it more suspenseful. And I like that scene where Ed Harris is talking to Liam Neeson in the restaurant, where they realize, eventually it will come down to me killing you, one or the other, and this is how it's going to go down, right? So it's one of those things where they knew it was eventually going to come to one of them killing each other over something that happened with their sons. And mainly it's more about Ed Harris wanting to kill Liam Neeson's son more than Liam Neeson himself,
Right.
to really feel his pain. That's why that's his character motivations. And I like everyone's character motivations. I like the acting from everyone in this movie, probably except for Common. I feel like, when they threw in Common as the hitman, he felt a little cartoony. He could have toned down a little. He was kind of remind me of the Terminator a bit.
Right.
What can you do? There's always one actor in a bunch that you just couldn't, that you could live without.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's true.
Even though I like the acting overall, there was just that one actor I didn't feel all that great to me. But I really enjoyed this movie. This was fun and entertaining, and what I like is that this is not just an action movie. It's really it's a crime drama thriller. And you got action thrown in there and in the right spots. And what I like, they didn't overdo the action. And when they have those action scenes, they feel really good. They flow well, just like the movie itself. It kept at a really, really good pace. My only complaint about the movie is that it gets a little convoluted a little bit. Kind of took me out of it, but it done a really good job of making sure that the main points in this movie are being concluded and have that real climax at the end. And it's really satisfying at the end.
Right.
And they also throw in another big actor just for one scene. I won't spoil anything for that. So, you have to see it to know what I'm talking about.
I can't remember.
So overall, I like this movie. It's not a Oscar-winning movie, but it is a fun, enjoyable movie, to say the least. I would say Run All Night delivered 75 points out of 100.
I was close again.
Go see this movie. You don't have to run out to see this movie. Maybe you can brisk jog to the theater to see this movie.
Jog.
And if you already did see it, what did you think about it? Feel free to leave your comments in the comment section below and give me your thoughts about Run All Night. And you can also hit that subscribe button down below this video as well to get McRuns.
Yeah, so that was my movie review for the movie Run All Night, starring Liam Neeson. I'll say this about Run All Night. Looking at that review in retrospect, I think that Run All Night is probably one of Liam Neeson's most underrated movies in his repertoire. I mean, when people talk about Liam Neeson's performances in movies, people talk about Schindler's List, Taken, most recently the new Pink Panther. Walk Among the Tombstones, people mention that as well. Run All Night seems to be a movie that kind of gets lost in the shuffle just a little bit. And it's a pretty good movie. It's not a great movie. It's not a bad movie. It's just a movie that falls right in the middle between average to good, somewhere in that range. 75 points out of 100, I think, is a really, really good score for that movie. I was only off by 4 points. I said 71 when I paused it. Turns out I gave it 75. So that was my take in retrospect for the movie Run All Night. Now let's get into the stuff that you normally see on the Rock Out Wild show. So, I present to you an installment I like to call On This Day for June the 10th. So let's present, share screen, and let's take a look at wrestling first. So what happened on this day in June 10th in wrestling in years past? Well, let's find out. See, we got a picture of, hey yo, it's me, Scott Hall, and Big Daddy Cool Diesel himself, Kevin Nash, on the right, and on the left is Eric Bischoff. So what happened in wrestling in years past? Well, in 1983, for the first time in 631 days, the NWA World Heavyweight Championship changed hands when Harley Race defeated the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, in a 2 out of 3 falls match in St. Louis, Missouri. Race scored 2 falls to Flair's 1. In 1996, Scott Hall, hey yo, unveiled his big surprise on WCW Monday Nitro when Kevin Nash made his return to the promotion. Previously working for WCW as various outlandish characters such as Vinny Vegas and Oz, Nash had left for the WWF in 1993 and found significant stardom as Diesel. His return alongside Hall kicked off the historic NWO angle that ran for over 4 years on and off. In 2002, Stone Cold Steve Austin walked out of the WWE just hours before Raw due to go live from Atlanta, Georgia. On the show, he was booked to face and lose to Brock Lesnar for the first time ever. Austin was enraged that WWE would give away such a potentially historic match on Raw, and this capped many months of frustration with his booking in the company and his physical condition. Austin would not appear for WWE again until February 2003. I even remember on TV when I saw the graphic for this that Stone Cold was about to face Brock Lesnar. I'm like, oh my god, they're doing this on TV and not planning this out for months? Like, what the heck are they doing? Like, so I don't blame Stone Cold at all for leaving. I don't. So, what else happened in years past? Well, in 2005, a special hardcore homecoming event took place at the old ECW arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The event was organized as something of a counterpoint to WWE's ECW's One Night Stand that would take place in New York City the following day. Primarily put together by former ECW World Champion Shane Douglas and TNA's Jeremy Borash, the event utilized many of the performers not booked for WWE's event, but also some that were. The main event was a throwback to one of ECW's most famous bouts and saw Sabu defeat Douglas and Terry Funk in a no-ropes barbed wire three-way dance. In 2008, going by the name Tiffany, WWE Diva Search 2007 finalist Taryn Terrell made her proper WWE TV debut on ECW on Sci-Fi as the assistant to general manager Teddy Long. Because we're going to have a tag team match player. In 2012, TNA Slammiversary took place at the College Park Center in Arlington, Texas. 2 titles changed hands on the night. Brooke Tessmacher defeated Gail Kim to win the TNA Knockouts Championship, and the team of AJ Styles and Kurt Angle defeated Bad Influence, Christopher Daniels, and Frankie Kazarian to win the TNA World Tag Team Championship. In the main event, Bobby Roode retains the TNA World Heavyweight Championship against the Icon, Sting. And in 2019, on an episode of WWE Raw from the SAP Center in San Jose, California, Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins lost their Raw Tag Team titles to the Revival, Dash Wilder, Scott Dawson, in a triple threat match, also including the Usos. We have some birthdays here, notable wrestling birthdays. For January the 10th, we have Deonna Purrazzo, who was born on this day in 1984, and CJ Banks was born on June 10th, 1988. Those are all the events that happened on this day for wrestling for June the 10th. Now let's get into what happened in the world of music on this day for June 10th. As we see here is a picture of the man himself, Ray Charles. And on this day in music, June 10th, 2004, singer, songwriter, and pianist Ray Charles had passed away at the age of 73. One of the most influential artists of all time, Charles, also known as the Genius, pioneered the sound of soul music with his blend of R&B, jazz, blues, and gospel. In the 50s and 60s, Charles broke several glass ceilings as a black artist as he found crossover success on the pop charts and found successfully to gain artistical control over his recordings. A Kennedy Center honoree and an inaugural inductee of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Charles won 18 Grammys, including a Lifetime Achievement Award and 5 Posthumous Awards, and scored countless top 40 hits, including the signature chart topper, Georgia on My Mind. In 1975, the Eagles released their fourth studio album, One of These Nights, featuring the U.S. top 10 hits, Lion Eyes, Take It to the Limit, and the title track. One of These Nights also became the band's first album to top the Billboard 200. In 2007, Rihanna scored her first #1 album in the UK with Good Girl Gone Bad. The album was blustered by the artist's #1 hit, Umbrella, which spent an astonishing 10 consecutive weeks at the top of the UK pop chart. In 1989, actor Jason Donovan became the first Australian to debut at the top of the UK pop chart with a cover of Brian Hayland's Sealed with a Kiss. Donovan will go on to hit #1 3 more times. In 1978, Grease stars John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John scored a #1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100 with You're the One I Want, the One I Want, Ooh, 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 a single from the blockbuster's film soundtrack. The song also topped the charts in the UK, Australia, Israel, and West Germany, among other territories. And in 1966, Pickup Sticks, the Monkees entered Los Angeles RCA Studios for their first recording session. Joined by backing band The Wrecking Crew, plus legendary singer-songwriter Leon Russell, who served as a co-producer alongside Snuff Garrett, the band recorded Take a Giant Step and Let's Dance On. We have some birthdays here for June 10th in the world of music. We have Howlin' Wolf, who was born on this day in 1910. The legend herself, Judy Garland, was born on June 10th, 1922. From the Shreelers, Shirley Owens was born on June 10th, 1941. Born in 1961, we have Kelly Deal from the Breeders. Born also in 1961, Kim Deal from also the Breeders and Pixies. Born on this day in 1964, we have Jimmy Chamberlain from the Smashing Pumpkins. Born in 1965 was Joey Santiago from Pixies. Darren Big Bluff Robinson from the Fat Boys was born on this day in 1967. That's right, Big Bluff. In 1973, Faith Evans was born on June 10th. And in 2004, Gail was born on this day in 2004, June 10th. Those are all the events that happened on this day in the world of music. Now let's take a look at what happened on this day for June 10th in the world of film and television, shall we? So, what do we have here? In 1939, in GM, cartoon character Barney Bear debuts. In 1954, KUED TV Channel 9 in San Francisco, California begins broadcasting. In 1955, KWEX TV Channel 41 in San Antonio, Texas begins broadcasting. In 1966, the Mamas and the Papas are awarded a gold record for Monday Monday. In 1967, American pole vaulter Bob Seargan sets a world record mark of 17-7 in San Diego, California. In 1968, Danny Thomas Hour last airs on NBC TV. Also in 68, KCFW TV Channel 9 and Kalispell MT begins broadcasting. Also in 68, WHTV, now WTZH TV Channel 24, in Medellin, MS, begins broadcast. In 1972, Sammy Davis Jr., cover of The Candyman by Anthony Newley and Leslie Barussi from the film Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, goes to number 1 on the charts, his biggest single. In 1982, American TV sitcom Taxi last airs on ABC, canceled after 4 seasons and 15 Emmy Award wins, moves to NBC in the fall, airing for 1 season and wins 3 more Emmys. In 1985, 19th Music City News Country Awards, Stellar Brothers, Barbara Mandrell win. In 1989, Tales from the Crypt TV anthology debuts on HBO. In 1991, final episode of David Lynch's Twin Peaks television series airs on ABC TV. In 1992, revival of Arthur Miller's stage play The Price, starring Eli Wallach, opens at the Criterion Theater in New York City, and it runs for 47 performances. We have a bit of music here in the film and television. In 1995, revival of Ivan Turgenev's stage drama A Month in the Country, starring F. Murray Abraham and Helen Mirren, closes at the Roundabout Theater in New York City after 79 performances. In 1996, variety talk show Rosie O'Donnell, The Rosie O'Donnell Show, hosted by Rosie O'Donnell, premieres. And we will erase the American National Anthem away from history. In 2003, Stephen Schwartz musical Wicked, starring India Menzel and Christian Chenoweth, officially opens at the Current Theater in San Francisco, California. In 2007, The Sopranos series finale on HBO, infamous cut to black ending. In 2013, third Critics' Choice Television Awards, The Big Bang Theory wins Best Comedy Series. Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones wins Best Drama Series in a tie. In 2013 also, Superman film Man of Steel, directed by Zack Snyder, starring Henry Cavill and Amy Adams, premieres in New York City. Then came the Snyder Cut years later. In 2018, actor Vince Vaughn was arrested for drunk driving and resisting arrest near Los Angeles. In 2022, actress Rebel Wilson comes out on Instagram before it emerges an Australian newspaper had given her 27 hours to comment on their upcoming story on her new female partner. And in 2022, Ringo Starr suspends his half-completed summer all-star band tour with 2 musicians tested positive for COVID-19. Yikes. Those are the events that happened on this day in the world of film and television for June the 10th. And for the final on this day segment, we're going to take a look at sports. Nothing but sports for June the 10th. So let's get right to it. In 1868, second Belmont Bobby Swim, abroad General Duke, wins in 3 minutes and 2 seconds. In 1871, fifth Belmont, W. Miller abroad, Henry Bassett wins in 2 minutes 56 seconds. In 1876, 10th Belmont, William Donahue abroad, Algerine wins in 2 minutes 40 seconds. In 1880, MLB Boston Red Caps outfielder Charlie Jones becomes first to hit 2 home runs in 1 inning, both off of Tom Poorman in a 19-3 win over the visiting Buffalo Bisons. In 1890, 24th Belmont, Pike Barnes riding Burlington wins in 2:07.75. In 1891, 25th Belmont, Ed Garrison riding Foxford wins in 2:08.75. In 1892, Baltimore catcher Wilbur Robinson sets MLB record by going 7 for 7 in a 9-inning game. Oilers routs St. Louis Cardinals 25-4 at Orly Park. In 1893, 27th Belmont, Willie Sims abroad, Comanche wins in 153.25. In 1904, British Open Men's Golf, Royal St. George's, Jack White wins his only major title, 1 stroke ahead of runners-up James Braid and J.H. Taylor, both former champions. There's a picture right there of James Braid himself. In 1916, 48th Belmont, E. Haynes abroad, Friar Rock wins in 2:22. In 1922, 54th Belmont, C.H. Miller abroad, Pilroy wins in 2:18.8. In 1926, MLB Philadelphia Phillies, Russ Wrightstone hits for the cycle. In 1930, Winnipeg Rugby Football Club forms. In 1932, British Open Men's Golf Prices, Gene Sarrazin wins wire to wire by 5 strokes from fellow American McDonald Smith. In 1933, 65th Belmont, Mac Gardner abroad, Hurrioff wins in 2:32.6. In 1933 also, U.S. Open Men's Golf, North Shore, amateur Johnny Goodman outlasts Ralph Guldilali by a single stroke to win his only major championship. And also in 1934, the FIFA World Cup, Standio Nazandale, PNF, Rome, Italy. Angelo Chivallo scores the winner in extra time as Italy beats Czechoslovakia 2-1. In 1938, English cricketer Charlie Barnett makes 98 by lunch in England versus Australia Test match at Trent Bridge. Plaza that any Englishman has come to scoring 100 runs before lunch. In 1944, relief pitcher Joe Nuxhall at 15 years, 360 days, debuts for Cincinnati Reds, youngest player in MLB history, becomes All-Star and broadcaster. In 1950, 82nd Belmont, William Boland abroad, middle ground, was in 2:28.6. In 1952, Chicago White Sox outfielder Sam Mell is only 6th MLB player to record 6 RBIs in an inning during a 15-4 win over the A's in Philadelphia. In 1956, due to Australia's strict quarantine regulations, the XVI Summer Olympics Equestrian event opens in Stockholm, Sweden 5 months early. In 1957, LPGA Championship, Churchill Valley. Louise Suggs wins her 10th major title by 3 strokes from Wilfie Smith. In 1959, American motorcycle racer John Penton arrives in downtown in Los Angeles after a cross-continental ride covering 3,051 miles in 52 hours, 11 minutes, 1 second, besting previous record by over 25 hours. This record broken in 1967. Also in 59, MLB Cleveland Indians Rocky Colavito hits his fourth home run in an 11-8 win over the Oilers in Baltimore. In 1962, a one-day record 54 home runs hit in baseball. I wonder who that was by any chance. Does anybody know? I'm curious. In 1962, Igor Tirovansian of USSR sets the long jump record at 27, 3.5. In 1967, American pole vaulter Bob Siergan sets a world record mark of 17-7 in San Diego, California. I think that's 17 feet 7 inches, if I'm not mistaken. In 1968, fourth Rugby League World Cup, Australia beats France 20-2. Also in 68, UEFA European Championship Final, Stadium Olympia, Rome, Italy. Italy beats Yugoslavia 2-0 in a replay. First game 1-1. In 1972, 104th Belmont Stakes, Ron Tourset abroad River Ridge wins in 2:28. Also in 72, Hank Aaron's 14th career Grand Slam ties him in a lead with Gil Hodges and moves him ahead of Willie Mays to second in career home runster, 649. In 1973, LPGA Championship Women's Golf, Pleasant Valley. In 1964, champion Mary Mills wins by one stroke ahead of runner-up Betty Butterfield. In 1974, Philadelphia Phillies slugger Mike Schmidt hits a ball off a public address speaker hanging from Houston Astrodome roof. That's impressive. In 1975, Yankee sponsor Army Day at the Tipperary home Shea Stadium. During a 21-gun salute, part of the fence is blown away, and another part is set on fire, which sucks. Stuff like that should not happen. In 1977, American golfer Al Gieberger becomes the first player in history to post a sub-60 score, 59 minus 13, in a PGA Tour sanctioned event during the second round of the Danny Thomas Memphis Classic at Colonel CC in Texas. In 1978, 110th Belmont Stakes, Stephen Cuthlin wins a broad affirmation to wrap up the Triple Crown. Also in 1978, there it is there, French Open Women's Tennis, Virginia Rusici of Romania claims her lone major singles title, beats Mima Chusilovic of Yugoslavia. Scores 62 and 62. Also in 78, Yankees trade Ken Holzman for Ron Davis. In 1979, Baltimore Orioles put their 8th triple play, 543 versus Cleveland. A lot of weird stuff that happens in baseball, I gotta say. Also in 79, French Open Women's Tennis. Chris Everett dominates Wendy Turnbull of Australia 6-2, 6-0 for her third French singles crown. Also in 79, LPGA Championship Women's Golf. Jack Nicklaus, Donna Capononi Young wins third major, beats Jerlyn Britz by 3 strokes. 1981, British runner Sebastian Coe sets 800-meter record of 141.73 in Florence. Also in 81, MLB Philadelphia Phillies Pete Rose ties Stan Musial's NL record of 3,630 hits. Also in 84, French Open Men's Tennis Czech star Ivan Lendl wins his first career Grand Slam title, beats John McEnroe 3-6, 2-6, 6-4, 7-5, and 7-5. In 1984, Zhu Wanhua of China high jumps a record of 7 feet 10 inches, 2.39 meters. In 1986, A. Bartlett Giamatti succeeds Chub Feeney as president of baseball's National League. In 1988, greatest number of participants, 31,678 on a bicycle tour in London. In 1989, 121st Belmont Stakes, Pat Day, a broad, easy goer, wins in 2:26. In 1989, French Open Women's Tennis, Argenta Sanchez Vicaro of Spain wins her first Grand Slam singles title, beats Steffi Graf 7-6, 3-6, and 7-5. In 1990, Detroit Pistons beat Trailblazers for first time since 1974 in Portland. In 1990 also, French Open men's tennis, Andreas Gomez of Ecuador wins his first and only career Grand Slam title, beats American Andre Agassi 6-3, 2-6, 6-4, and 6-4. In 1990 also, Senior Tournament Players Championship men's golf, Dearborn, Jack Nicklaus, wins his second of 8 championships toured by major strokes from Lee Trevino. In 1994, American tennis ace Jennifer Capatri checks out for drug abuse clinic. In 1995, 127th Belmont Stakes, Gary Stevens abroad, Thunder Gulch wins in 2:32. In 1995, also, French Open Women's Tennis, Steffi Graf beats Andrea Sanchez Vicaro 7-5, 4-6, 6-0, with pivotal 32-point game in third set. Graf's fourth French title. Also in 95, Orioles beat Jeff Manto in his fourth consecutive homer. In 1996, Stanley Cup Final, Miami Arena, Miami, Florida. Yuri Krup's unassisted goal in triple overtime gives Colorado Avalanche a 1-0 win over Florida Panthers in a Game 4 series sweep. Stuff like that I love. I wish that the Colorado Avalanche did the same thing this year. In 1997, Kevin Brown of Florida Marlins no-hits San Francisco Giants 9-0. In the year 2000, when we would make it up to you, 132nd Belmont Stakes, Pat Day abroad, commendable wins in 231.20. Also in the year 2000, French Open Women's Tennis, Frances Mary Pierce beats Conchita Martinez of Spain 6-2, 7-5 for her second and last career Grand Slam singles title and her first singles title at the Roland Garros. Also in the year 2000, Stanley Cup Final Reunion Arena, Dallas, Texas. Shout out to you. New Jersey Devils defeat Dallas Stars 2-1 in double overtime for a 4-2 series victory. In 2001, French Open men's tennis, Gustavo Kuerten of Brazil wins his third French title, beats the Spaniard Alex Corretja 6-7, 7-5, 6-2, and 6-0. In 2006, 138th Belmont Stakes, Fernando Jara abroad, Giselle wins in 227.81. Also in 2006, Anna Storr wins a gold medal in bouldering at the UIAA Climbing World Cup in Grindelwald, Switzerland. In 2006, French Open Women's Tennis, Justine Henin Hardinin retains her title, beats Slavana Kusinova of Russia 6-4, 6-4 for a fifth Grand Slam singles crown. In 2007, French Open men's tennis, Spaniard Rafael Nadal wins title for a third consecutive year, beats Roger Federer 6-3, 4-6, 6-3, and 6-4. In 2007 also, LPGA Championship Women's Golf, Bjorn Rock, Suzanne Peterson of Norway wins her first major title by one stroke ahead of Australian Kerry Webb. In 2012, French Open Women's Tennis, Maria Sharapova wins her first French title, beats Sarah Irani of Italy 6-3 and 6-2. In 2012, LPGA Championship Women's Golf, Locust Hill. Shangstan Feng of China wins by 2 strokes ahead of Yun Hee Ji, Stacy Lewis, Mika Mayetso, and Suzanne Peterson. Also in 2012, the tradition senior men's golf, Shoal Creek GNCC, defending champion Tom Lehman wins by 2 strokes from Bernhard Langer of Germany and Taiwan's Liu Chinsun. In 2017, 149th Bound Mount Stakes, Jose Ortiz abroad Tapwrit wins in 2:30.02. Also in 2017, French Open women's tennis, Helena Ostapenko upsets Simona Halep in 4-6, 6-4, and 6-3 victories to claim her first Grand Slam title, first Latvian to win a Grand Slam singles title. In 2018, French Open's men's tennis, Rafael Nadal beats Dominic Thiem of Australia 6-4, 6-3, 6-2 for his record 11th French title in 17 Grand Slam victory. In 2023, 155th Belmont Stakes, Javier Castellano abroad, Angelico wins. Also in 2023, French Open women's tennis, defending champion Iga Swiatek of Poland beats unseeded Czech Karolina Muchova 6-2, 5-7, and 6-4 for her third French and fourth Grand Slam title. And also in 2023, UEFA Champions League final, Atatürk Stadium, Istanbul. Manchester City beats Inter Milan 1-0 to complete historic Champions League, Premier League, and FA Cup treble. And those are all the events that happen in the world of sports for June the 10th. And I do believe it is about that time for the main event for episode 72 of the Rock Out Wild Show. And just before I hit record, I said to myself, well, I already done a tier list of episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That was a couple of weeks ago. Also on previous live streams that I've done from Open Mic Night and the Rapture and the Psychopathic Corner, I've covered Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I've done my own rankings of not only the episodes, but the seasons as well. But I want to see what other people said about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's what the Rock Out Wild Show is all about. It's not just my voice, but it's the voice of other people talking about certain shows, certain movies, certain sports, certain music, certain everything. I want everyone in on the action. So, for the main event for episode 72 of the Rock Out Wild Show, I am going to go over an article by Den of Geek that was posted a few months ago, as Den of Geek ranked every single season of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This is something I've done. I already have my list all lined up. Let's see if my list can correlate with this list. Without further ado, let's react. So let's present, share screen, and let's see what this article is all about. As you see there, Den of Geek ranking every season of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It has its highs and it has its lows, and I do agree with that. This article was posted by Kristen Howard on February the 2nd, 2026, which was just not too long ago. And it says here, most rankings are subjective, and so is this one. Ask a handful of Buffy the Vampire Slayer fans to rank their shows, seasons, and you'll probably get wildly different answers. I do agree with that as well. Some people think the show peaked with Buffy and Angel's tragic story arc in season 2, which was fantastic, by the way. Others find the whole thing extremely problematic. I can also agree with that as well. Some people love the Dawn era, others would tell you it makes them want to throw something. Everyone hates Xander, except all the times they didn't. So here's the official but subjective Den of Geek ranking for all of Buffy the Vampire Slayer 7 seasons. Hear them out, then feel free to head to the comments and sound off. So let's see how they ranked the Buffy the Vampire Slayer seasons. They start off with season 7, and I kind of have to agree with this. Uh, the, the bottom two can go either way here. I think the bottom two, when it comes to Buffy the Vampire Slayer seasons, is season 7 and season 1. You could pick either one as the worst. It really don't matter. Den of Geek chose season 7, and I kind of have to agree here. And it says here, the final season of Buffy gave us a touching ending that wrapped up the series well and promised a better future for most of the show's characters. After battling the first evil in its many guises, Buffy and the Scoobies turned Sunnydale into a crater and many of the potential Slayers into real ones. For the first time in years, life also looks to be full of possibilities for Buffy, who has carried the weight of the world on her shoulders since she was originally chosen to battle dark forces. She has shifted from reactive hero to full-on general, and her actions have felt earned even when they were uncomfortable to watch. But unfortunately, I kind of have to agree with this. The final season dragged at the time and drags on rewatch. The first is underused in practice as a villain playing with Spike, the Turricons, and then later Caleb as its minions. I will say this before I continue. I think Nathan Fillion done a tremendous job as Caleb. I really, really do. However, I feel like that Caleb came into the season way too late, but providing no real threat beyond psychological manipulation, of course. The potentials also overload the show with new characters who aren't fully fleshed out and become quickly annoying. I agree with that. Our faves start acting out of character, gigging up against Buffy, and in Jaws' case, making moves against Spike behind her back. There were certainly precedences for this, killing Ben, his reluctant dirty work for the Watchers Council, but it feels like retreading old ground, and I kind of can see why Den of Geek thinks like this because I'm of the same wavelength here. There was a lot of retreading in season 7, as I say, back to Sunnydale High, back to the beginning, looping everything full circle, but it's really seemed like we've been here before. The show was running out of ideas and steam, and it was almost a relief when it ended with its uplifting yet occasionally tragic finale. I mean, that series finale, it's a great series finale. I will give it that. But like the Den of Geek says here, certain moments are infuriating though. Spike's heroic death was immediately underdone in Angel, which I sort of understand, but I also kind of disagree as well. And the killing of the show's neurodivergent coded character, Anya, in the final minutes still feels unnecessary and mean-spirited. I mean, I can understand that, but there's also the moment where Andrew talks to Xander at the end of it that kind of gave him this feeling that Anya died saving the world. I guess someone had to die in the series finale. It just had to be Anya. But it's one of those things where you go, whatever. Number 6, season 1. And I kind of have to agree again, going back and forth with the bottom two, with between season 7 and season 1. Season 1, I understand why they chose it being at number 6 here. It says here, important elements of the show first came together in season 1, introducing our main characters and showing how they respond to wild situations that no 16-year-old should have navigate. The high school in hell theme and the rubbery monster of the week approach landed immediately, and the we didn't speak dialogue, now largely considered millennial cringe, was a delight at the time. Some of the episodes do feel quite quaint now, I agree. Occasionally, laughably so, especially Willow falling in love with a demon online when technology was still in its infancy. I agree with that. Others have far better. Welcome to the Hellmouth is still one of the best pods ever created. And Prophecy Girl is one of the best finales, delivering an air punching evolution for the show's central character as she begins to resist expectations from those with her and against her. Still, season one ultimately feels really rough around the edges because the show hadn't hit its stride yet. The character of Xander, played by newcomer Nicholas Brendan after Ryan Reynolds turned down the role, remains particularly hard to watch as he refuses to take the hint that Buffy isn't interested in him and ends up coming off as disturbingly possessive. That's possible, which fades into the background somewhat in season 2 as the dynamics of the main characters deepen. Persistently bad editing and lighting choices also don't help. The budget was low, and the crew was likely doing the best that they could, but future seasons benefited from learning the lessons of the first, both practically and in the characterization. I mean, you got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere, and season one was a test run. That's basically what it was. Number 5 is season 5. I can see you why too. And I think that's a really good spot for season 5. I never considered season 5 to be the very best season of Buffy, not necessarily, but there are some things to love about it, some things to not like about it. And let's see what this article said here. Season 5 is a mixed bag with an equal number of solid and utterly underwhelming episodes. Glory is a great villain. Thank you very much. A god who can't be killed and who feels like a genuine threat. But the episodes where she has an impact on her gang are interspeeded with some real stinkers, usually where Buffy's little sister Dawn is in danger and screeching about how unfair everything is, but also anything with Buffy's pathetic ex-army boyfriend Riley, who seems entirely focused on his own selfish needs, even as things get worse and worse for Buffy. I agree with that as well. The Knights of Byzantium, oh, those guys, I know who they are relentlessly silly and easily dispatched in the end. I don't know why they even done that whole storyline to begin with. That's just me. So the episodes leading up to the terrific finale, where Buffy sacrifices herself to save Dawn, also prove a bit annoying to get through. However, that season finale of season 5 of The Gift, I think is one of the best episodes of the series. There's some really good stuff here, though. The Spike-centric episode Fool for Love builds to a surprisingly touching conclusion, and his Buffy Bot era is truly wild. Absolutely, I agree. Even today, the fallout from Joyce's death and the body is absolutely heartbreaking. Can't watch it at all. I just can't. Glory's attack on Terra is truly upsetting, very heartbreaking as well. Buffy vs. Dracula remains an incredible Monster of the Week episode, probably one of the most standout Monster of the Week episodes as well. And the show even manages to create one of its creepiest moments ever when Joyce is resurrected and comes knocking at the door in forever. That I'm in the same wavelength as well. Number 4 is season 6. Now, with season 6, I would have this a little bit higher, maybe in the top 3, somewhere in the top 3, maybe 2 or 1, depending on my mood. But I love season 6. At least it's in the middle of the road here, so I can live with this ranking and this placing. It says here, this is too high on the ranking. I can sense some of you thinking, and that's fair. But hear me out. I feel like Buffy season 6 got a rough deal when it first aired, and it has since become better regarded. I kind of agree. It actually has. In season 6, the characters were growing up along with the show's audience. At the time, many fans thought that Buffy's depression after being brought back to life and the way she had to cope with joining the adult world was simply too gloom. Much of the humor that propped up earlier seasons had lessened and was replaced by the reality of living. There were bills to pay, and Buffy had to get a humiliating minimum wage job with no parents around. She didn't know how to cope with things going wrong. She started sleeping with someone who wasn't good for her, but briefly lightened the load on her emotional state. There are relatable things that come up for many people at that age. Buffy couldn't just bounce back from being sucked out of heaven. She was forced to cope with real life, and that meant something to many viewers, dealing with their own monsters. Willow's villain arc may also have divided people. I personally loved it because I understood it. It all had to do with addiction issues, but at least the show attempted to explore addiction issues in somewhat in a meaningful way, which was more than many were doing at that point. After bringing us a solid episode in season 4, Buffy also delivered an incredible musical episode here, featuring catchy songs that became enduring earworms. But its season's central theme, that sometimes life will plunge you into darkness and you have to battle your own demons, that has truly lasted the test of time. I 100% agree with that. Number 3 on this list is season 4. I would have season 4 lower on this list. In fact, I will put it in the bottom 3, along with season 1 and season 7. That's just me. However, there are really, really good episodes in season 4, and we'll get to all this here. So what does it say about season 4? What did Den of Geeks say about this season? Well, it says season 4 may be slightly uneven, but it's definitely ambitious. From the groundbreaking Hush to the surreal Restless, the season is stuffed with memorable episodes that push the show beyond its comfort zone as Buffy goes to college and discovers that independence brings even great danger. At the same time, the Scooby Gang is forced into situations that lead them to bolder character arcs. Willow loses Oz, but finds a new love in Tara. Xander realizes he's going nowhere and begins a serious relationship with someone he's not even sure he likes. With his steady librarian job over, Jaws spirals into a midlife crisis fueled by boredom in the sense that he's no longer needed. I don't mind the clinging and clanging of the dishes outside my door. This season also makes the US military into a joke, which, as it should, which is either hilarious or annoying, depending on how much you love the US military, I suppose. As part of the military influx, Riley's introduction is sweet to begin with. It's nice to couple Buffy with someone who is normal but not totally boring. Your mileage may vary. I always thought Riley was boring. He's not Angel. He'll never be Angel. He's not Spike. He's nowhere near close to Spike. And seeing him slowly get to grips with what's really going on in Sunnydale in the gray areas that Buffy had to deal with was mostly compelling. That I agree. The season falls flat with its big bad Adam. Unfortunately, I always thought Adam was just a generic villain. There's nothing really there. But there are so many highlights elsewhere that it's hard to be too mad about it. I mean, I think that the biggest mistake when it comes to the main villains of season 4 and Buffy was killing off Maggie Walsh too early. I think she should have lasted at least up until the final couple of episodes before killing her off. She was such a good villain. They did not need to kill her off. They replaced her with a generic, boring villain in Adam. I think Maggie should have stayed just to give Adam a bit of something. That's my take on it. Living conditions, where Buffy decides that her annoying roommate is evil, is hilariously relatable. The twist of fear itself, that the demonic gotcha is only a couple of inches tall when it finally manifests, hits every time. Jonathan's world altering installment as Superstar is so stacked with fun that is unexpectedly hard to leave behind. Willow's spell going away in something blue also leads to some fantastic scenes between the cast, I mean. But it's not all breezy stuff as well. I mean, the harsh light of day, the show tackles the possibility that not everyone you're seduced by will treat you right. And Fate's return in a phenomenal double bill towards the end leads to an understanding between her and Buffy that finally leaves the door open for Faith to be redeemed. A solid storyline that continues in season 7, Angel, and the comics that followed. Number 2 is season 2. I absolutely agree with this placement. Now, you can make the argument that season 2 is the best season of Buffy the Vampire Slayer overall. I mean, take a look at what happens and you'll see what I mean. What did this article say? What did Den of Geeks say about season 2? Well, it's an underestimated. It's an understatement to say that season 2 was a huge step up for season 1, darker and more emotional. Season 2's main arc is planned and executed magnificently as Buffy and Angel's romance deepens, then implodes spectacularly when she sleeps with him and turns evil. The Angelus arc presents Buffy with her first real moral challenge, whether to kill the man she loves and break her own heart, or find a way to save him that could lead to more and more carnage in the meantime. The Buffy the Angel storyline never loses its momentum because season 2 mixes classic Monster of the Week episodes with that arc exceptionally well. There were some duds for sure, stuff like Inca Mummy Girl and Bad Eggs. Goldfish is another. I really, really don't like Goldfish. I mentioned that a couple of weeks ago. But we also get Halloween, we get Ted, we got Bewitched, Bothered and Bewildered. There are also a couple of double episode story arcs like What's My Line, Part 1 and 2, and Becoming, Part 1 and 2, that are quite simply some of the best TV we've ever had the pleasure of watching. Season 2 also introduces Spike and Drusilla, a fresh and massively chaotic couple whose relationship is upended when Angelus is pulled back into their orbit, where he cucks Spike into the stratosphere. Growing the cast of vampire characters was a key element at this point, increasing the audience's patience for a little blood-sucking fun in one area, even while Angelus becomes the worst of the worst in another. The murder of Jenny Cantor is still a tough watch. Spike will go on to become one of the series' main characters, surprising the show's writers. And James Marsters' performance as the Billy Idol lookalike was so dedicated that a later storyline would even send him to therapy in real life. And you probably, if you know your Buffy trivia, you probably know that James Marsters was supposed to be killed off at the middle of season 2, but they kept him on because he was just so good. He was that good. But the number 1 season that Den of Geek has on here is season 3. I would put it slightly lower. I wouldn't put season 3 at number 1, but definitely in the top 3. If I had to pick like a top 3, it would be like seasons 2, 3, and 6. Not necessarily in that order, but I'm so glad to see season 3 get a lot of love because season 3, I think, is a great season of Buffy. What does Den of Geek say? Well, a total high point for the series, season 3 of Buffy, found the perfect balance of humor, romance, and drama. It also had a great villain, a dark side of the Slayer in Faith, and a thrilling final battle that could have easily ended the whole show right there. In Mayor Richard Wilkins III, Buffy has something new. Right up until the last episode, he was a stubble but menacing villain who played up his quirky moments as an endearing father figure to 2 young girls whose fathers were no longer in the picture. His urge to reinforce good in the community and his silly giggles are the most mundane things were definitely upset by the sense that nothing would stop him from ascending into a staggering demonic force, a giant snake to be exact. His evil plan has been coming to fruition for so long that Buffy ended up killing Faith just to get his attention. Though Faith's soul seemed unsalvageable at the time, Buffy wrestled with how to deal with her until the Pulmonate episode. Thus, Season 3 had created the perfect storm for its two Slayers, whose lawful and neutral good tendencies shifted as they were affected by their own choices and actions, each holding the mirror up to their other discomforts set in time and again. Meanwhile, every Scooby Gang got a standout episode of Season 3. The Zeppo proved that Xander could get into trouble all by himself. The Wish introduced Cordelia to an even more violent alternate reality. Doppelgangland further forced Willow out of her shell. And Giles got his teenage kicks back at Band Candy. Ooh, Copper's got a gun. And we got the school suicide episode in Earshot. Was too close to the ball for the network following the Columbine massacre, but its upsetting storyline also remains eternally relevant. Yes, we can all admit that the CGI on the Mayor Snake Monster has aged a little poorly. I can understand that. And it wasn't great at the time, but Season 3 still remains the high point of the series finale for many Buffy fans. So, that was Den of Geek's article on Buffy the Vampire Slayer's ranking of all of the seasons. Now, if you were to ask me, Mike, how would you rank Buffy the Vampire Slayer seasons? Well, I would put season 1 at number 7, season 7 at number... Okay, so number 7 would be season 1. Number 6 would be season 7. Number 5 would be season 4. Number 4 would be season 3. Number 4 would be season 5. Number 3, season 3. Number 2, season 6. And number 1, season 2. But the way Den of Geek ranked it, we have number 7, season 7. Then we have number 6, season 1. Number 5, season 5. Number 4, season 6. Number 3, season 4. Number 2, season 2. And number 1, season 3. So that was Den of Geek's ranking for every season of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And this has been episode number 72 of The Rock Out Wild Show. I'm going to end on a final note to all of you watching and listening to this all around the world. Get plenty of rest and always do your best.